CYC organizers. I am going to focus more on the inquiry-based and non-formal education to nurture the young talent and promote as well as popularize science. I think this green button is to move forward. Okay. Well, you know it all, and this whole forum is about science, technology, innovation, and STEM education for sustainable development. But just to recap, that the science, technology, innovation, or STI, and STEM education are increasingly recognized as being fundamental to achieve development on a sustainable basis. And some of the countries, we heard a presentation from Japan yesterday saying that they don't have much natural resources, but they have built on, I think on science and technology. Same is true for South Korea. And in recent past, particularly China, Republic of Korea, to some extent Malaysia, and a number of other things in our region, have actually gained rapid economic catch-up, mainly based on science technology, because they were the ones who really absorbed and adapted creativity together with the technology. And we heard the presentation of Professor Pei on technology involvement as well. So these sectors are really crucial for developing qualified human resource and STEM workforce. I think for the industries also, with the technological development, we need STEM workforce rather than ordinary labor, and particularly when we have the fast growing challenges that we have, including the climate change, water and food security, energy is an issue. So the industry also needs that kind of, but I think we are in an age where greater access to smart devices to our younger generation, and the students are more digitally connected than ever before. And they are growing at a very fast pace with internet and cellular technology. I always ask not my children anymore, but my grandchildren to help me with my mobile activity and fixing and all that. And I sometimes fail to understand how have they learned. Although, my granddaughter does not own a mobile phone, yet she would guide me how to handle it. So the young children today are really truly digital natives who tend to outsource many cognitive tasking. And yesterday you saw the results of PISA, the OECD, and it said that the faculty is the least required because the children actually have many other sources, and we have to be aware of that. This is a different discussion. I think we could have with NSTA and Julie, how the teachers have to be updated to be really having a role. We are, of course, in the fourth industrial revolution, but if you look at the previous industrial revolutions, they had a certain, specific aspect, like the water and steam engine in the first industrial revolution, the electricity later on, automation. But now, this fourth industrial revolution, I think, essentially is the digital revolution. And there are emerging technologies that are and will be part of the development. So it is therefore urgent to develop global competencies and technological skills in our youth that allow everyone to fit in the tomorrow's world for sustainable future. And if those skills are not developed, then perhaps we might be, in our country, Pakistan, there is always a talk that there are so many, but we are producing jobless graduates because they don't have the skills. They have the degrees, but not the skills, and they could not get forward. So as you see, the essential emerging, there are large number. Artificial intelligence is being talked about all around, and that's going to be in everything. Of course, there are ethical issues with that, but that's there, and we have to produce our future generation, prepare them in a way that they can handle that on. And I mentioned the skills and the skills in 21st century and school education. I think in most developing countries and probably in some developed countries also, they are out of sync. They don't really synchronize. The means that we are seeing, this means that there's bigger and bigger gap between schools and the tech society. And the gap is responsible for deterioration of the performance in our schools and our educational system. Therefore, it becomes harder to get our children to buy in to the idea. They say that the school is satisfying their needs and that the school is a bridge to the 21st century. But I think this is not true anymore. Now, this is top 10 skills in 15 and 20, and you see the change, but the complex problem solving and critical thinking, creativity is increases. But when we look at the 23, you may not be able to read it through, but this multitasking and the creativity and critical thinking is overarching. This is the global data. You can have it on, for the post on the World Economic Forum. So skills are very important, but the only one 21st century skill that everybody needs, is to be able to actually understand the changes. So the model that used to say that learn while you are at school, while you are young, the skills that you will apply during your lifetime. Now this is no longer tenable. The skills that you can learn when you are at school presently, today, will not really be applicable tomorrow. So they will be obsolete by the time that today's children get to workplace. But the one competitive skill is really skill of being able to learn. So the lifelong learning and remaining in a learning mode. Now this is a kind of a tuning of mindset